This transformation took less than a minute, from a bland and basic mockup to a photo shoot that looks, well, pretty sleek. And to dive into how it's possible, you might have seen this video by Pixelperfect a while ago, which looked at mainly the Upscaler tool of Magnific. It was a great video on Magnific's upscale tool, but since then a lot has changed. What many people originally knew as Magnific AI was acquired by Freepik and has actually since evolved into something much bigger. And today, the wider creative ecosystem has been unified under the Magnific brand, turning what was once a specialist upscaler tool into a much broader creative platform. Rather than thinking of it as a collection of separate AI tools, I think it's better to think of it as one connected creative workspace where research, ideation, generation, refinement, and presentation all happen together. In fact, let me just show you. So, like I said, Magnific is not merely an upscale tool anymore, far from it. And to kick things off, you may understand this unfortunate trap that some of us designers do fall into from time to time, and that is spending far too much time collecting inspiration and ideas that actually don't have anything to do with designing. The problem is that all of that information usually ends up scattered across different browser tabs, folders, and whatever mysterious place that image disappeared to 3 weeks ago. But Spaces in Magnific is an answer to creative chaos. Instead of jumping between different tabs or folders and screenshots and notes, everything does end up living in the same space, hence the name Spaces. As you can see here for this brand new project, I started off with the brief and then dropping in a few different reference images. Simple and usual, yes, but I could use this to generate potential color schemes or even typography system ideas. And from there, I could save the strongest concepts all within Spaces, and potentially organize them into collections and build out a mood board without constantly switching between different tools. And I could also use the built-in chat to brainstorm ideas, to refine directions, and also, importantly, to generate new variations based on what I've already done inside this project. Now it sounds simple, but keeping everything connected in one place made the whole exploration process feel that much more focused. The thing I appreciate the most is that the project keeps its context. 6 hours later, I don't have to explain the brand all over again, because every new generation already understands what we've been building. It is like having a real person there. So the references feed the mood board feeds generations, and everything stays connected. And a trick I formulated and something I can see myself using with clients is dropping all of their inspiration into one space and then asking the AI to identify recurring themes. Sometimes clients don't actually know what they like as such or what the audience likes, but patterns start appearing once you analyze everything together. Those patterns don't just become observations as such. They naturally influence the color palette, typography, the mockups, presentations, and even the overall brand personality that follows thereafter. Essentially, it's priceless. Now, this next workflow is going to give you a gentle slap to your face and wake you up to how much time you can save. And before you reach for your keyboard, yes, this workflow requires design skills first and foremost. I created this design. It is one part of a larger design system. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to start by adding an assistant to this space, and I want to ask it to give me more animals linked to Japanese culture. But crucially, I need this as a list, which is sourced via the button in the bottom right node here. I absolutely love the UI and the smoothness of Magnific, by the way. I could watch this gradient load in for days at a time. It's really cool. And so we have our list here, which I will neatly move to one side. Then I need to create an image generator node and ensure that I actually attach the text list output to it. And then I need to attach the image output as well. And this is so it can reference both things at once to make something new. Now here's the crucial part. I want to be super clear and precise with my prompt. And my prompt is that I want the layout exactly the same, the new animals to be the same size and proportion, and so on. And if I give this a click, we will wait briefly for the outcomes. And yeah, see, the outcomes are in line with the cohesive style that I wanted. The layouts and the icon at the bottom are the same, the designs are useful, and I've even replicated my design just in a few seconds while maintaining cohesion. Now normally, I'd export these and jump somewhere else into a different tool, but instead here, I'll keep everything inside the same space. I'll take my favorite result, enhance it, maybe relight it, the presentation, the image, and then generate a short cinematic animation from it. That's what I mean by Magnific feeling like an ecosystem rather than a collection of disconnected tools. But of course, we cannot talk about Magnific without talking about the feature that put it on the map in the first place. The upscale is still here, but it's far more impressive when you actually stop thinking of it as a simple way to make images bigger. Because as designers, we sometimes find ourselves working with assets that aren't quite good enough. But one unexpected use I thought up was generating a single strong presentation visual and then using Magnific to create crops and close-up detail shots for social media, for case studies and presentations. I also found myself using it to recover old presentations and improving kind of client assets pulled from different websites. And then images that I'd normally avoid using can become perfectly presentation-ready materials. Something worth mentioning is that all of these tools talk to each other. It wasn't constantly exporting files or moving between softwares or restarting projects. The research I gathered in Spaces could feed into image generation, which could feed into Relight, which could then be enhanced through Magnific itself. And instead of stopping with a finished image, I could immediately turn it into a short cinematic video, whether that's for YouTube, for Instagram, social media, or even for a client presentation. It's another example of how the workflow simply keeps going instead of ending at a JPEG. And if you're creating content for, say, YouTube, perhaps IG Reels, or even client presentations, the same ecosystem also includes video generation tools as well, and that further extends the whole workflow. That's probably my biggest takeaway after using Magnific. None of these individual tools are particularly interesting in isolation. What impressed me was how naturally they are connected together. From the initial brief to the research, moodboards, image generation, upscaling, video generation, and finally, the important stuff, the client presentation. And if you would like to give this thing a try, there's a link in the description box of today's video leading you directly to Magnific. And thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. It's been quite a journey and it's been quite insightful as well. It's been quite interesting to see how it's come from the upscale tool all the way to present day. It's vastly different and vastly useful. But until next time, guys, design your future today. Peace.